So the big benefit of personality questionnaires that no one talks about is that they are the perfect tool to offset the weaknesses of interviews. So what I mean by that is, realistically, from the research, interviews are just social skills tests, okay? If you are super charismatic, you will do better. That is it. If you have great social skills, if you're very interpersonally aware, if you're very charismatic and charming, you will do better at interviews. And as a result, what the interviewer is trying to measure, say resilience or work ethic or organizational skills, these things don't help you in an interview. If you're really organized, it does not help you at all when talking to someone and explaining how good you are as an employee. So what happens is the charismatic candidate convinces them that they're organized, or the charismatic candidate convinces them that they are resilient, irrespective of how they actually are in these constructs. It's the wrong tool. Whereas personality questionnaires and behavioural assessments are designed to measure those explicitly in a way that is not completely obfuscated by charisma. And so if you have a competency framework, if you have behaviours that you are really interested in and you know are indicative of performance and fit in the organisation, you are going to need behavioural assessments to measure those. It isn't optional. If those things matter and you want to hire on the basis of them, you cannot rely on interviews to do that. You will need behavioural assessments. Now, the reason they work is that they are designed specifically in line with various models of personality to measure those specific behavioral constructs in a way that is very repeatable, in a way that is very reliable, in a way that you can validate. Because it's a fixed product that you can test on hundreds of people, unlike an interview, which happens once and is a once-off. And so if those things matter, you need to use behavioral assessments. Now, not only do we know that they are useful measures of performance, predictors of performance, you can use them to predict whether someone will be a good employee, ultimately, whether they're going to perform well in the role, whether they will create more widgets per unit time, whether they'll have a higher sales total, whether their managers will give them higher performance ratings. We know that to be the case. But more than that, we also know them to be especially useful indicators of retention, because employee engagement, job satisfaction, organizational loyalty, fit to the organizational culture and to the role and to the team, these are inherently behavioral. It is about fit to the behavioral requirements and the behavioral capabilities of that person. And so, yeah, the performance is important, but realistically, I think you should be considering quality of hire to be akin to a sort of employee total lifetime value metric. How much performance over their tenure. Both of those things matter, because if you have a high performer who stays for a week, that's a bad hire. Doesn't matter how good they are, it is not enough time for them to add value. And so you need to consider that. It's not just about performance, it's also about retention. And from what we have seen in the research, personality assessments are a much stronger indicator of retention than they are performance, in a way that cannot be replicated elsewhere. And so that is ultimately the goal here of behavioral assessments. It offsets the inherent weaknesses of interviews and allows you to find people who will both perform well and stay for the duration.